Hello everyone, greetings from PayTabs technical support team. In this series, you will learn how to integrate with PayTabs through our PT2 API endpoints. And here, we will walk you through the third integration type, which is the managed form. For the purpose of this series, we have created a very simple Laravel project to walk you through the integration process. But feel free to follow the steps in this series with your own project, whatever the programming language or the framework used to integrate with PayTabs. So, let's get started. In this video, we are going to learn one of our follow-up transaction, which is the refund transaction and how you can refund the transaction using our API. So let's get started. The first thing you should know is that you can find the full documentation for this part inside PayTabs support portal under the article called the Managed Form APIs Integration Manual. Now from the integration manual over here, if we navigate to step 7, which is manage transaction, we can see that this step is dedicated to manage your already in transaction and do any follow-up transaction upon them, like refund it or query it, and to handle all the follow-up transactions. So if you have already an existing transaction, this is the step that you want to check. Now here for this video we will going to refund transaction, and before we go into the refund we highly recommend you to check our solution article what is transaction type so you can understand the differences between PayTabs transaction types. Now over here inside the refund, we will see that the refund is a very simple process. We are going to use our payment request endpoint, and we are going to use a very simple request payload where we have our required parameters over here, the profile ID, the transaction type, transaction class, the card details. Of course, we need the card currency and a card amount. The card currency must be the same currency of the transaction that we want to refund, and the card amount must be equal to the amount of this transaction or less than it, of course. Now we can do a full refund by providing the full amount of this transaction inside the cart amount, or we can do a partial refund by providing less than the amount of the original transaction. So as you can see inside our code over here, we have generated a very simple refund payload. The refund payload contains our required parameters, contains the transaction reference. We are going to take this transaction reference from our blade over here. We're going to pass it to this parameter over here. I have created a very simple callback URL over here to receive the transaction response. And in order to refund the transaction, so first we need to have a transaction. So we are going to initiate the transaction first, then we are going to refund it. Now, you must know that you need to refund an sale transaction or an oath transaction that has been already captured. So over here I'm going to initiate a sale transaction. Let's get back to our normal checkout page over here. I'm going to make a very simple payment. That's it. I'm using my test card. I'm going to check it out. Now over here you can see now I have a very successful transaction. This is the transaction reference. I can also get it from my transaction, my callback response over here. You can see this is the transaction reference. This is the transaction type of sale and the amount is 100. The currency is USD. Now I'm going to copy this transaction reference. Also, you can check it out inside your merchant dashboard. You'll see here that we have a transaction. There's the transaction reference, it's type sale. Now we are going to get back over here to our refund blade. Let's pass our transaction reference, and here I'm going to pass, if I want to refund the full amount, which is 100, I can do that. I can only refund part of this amount. For this transaction I'm going to refund the full amount, and once we click refund we will see that we have a successful transaction over here. Its type is refund, its transaction total is 100. So if we get back over here to our transaction and reload, we will see that we have a refund transaction. It is related to the previous transaction. This is it, and if we check the original transaction, we will see that it was already refunded over here, as you can see inside the other transaction. So we can get back over here and see it over here. Here is the refund of this transaction inside the new transaction. Now this is how you can do a simple refund transaction using our APIs, and by doing that our tutorial has ended and we can move to the next tutorial.